Time for another G.I. Joe toy review, and boy do we have a special review today. How can I get around not making this a surprise? I shouldn't say not making this a surprise, but making it a surprise. It's already in the title of the video. I've run into the conundrum of not titling a video to hopefully create a little excitement. Oh, what is this going to be? Hardly any views on that video. So people look for the title. Natural. So it kind of spoils the surprise a little bit. And I honestly don't know how to make it a little more exciting for you guys. So we're going to be looking at a very special toy that was sent to me. It is the 1980s, not exactly sure the year that it came out. Action Force Panther and his driver Stalker. Oh, excuse me, I was itching. Allergy season. Oh, see, Palitoy was a sister company to Hasbro. It released the Action Force line when the figures first came out. Most of them were a 5-point articulation like Star Wars, made from similar plastic. They were sold in most parts of Western Europe, including the United Kingdom, Ireland, France, Spain, and West Germany, Italy, and Greece. West Germany, bit of history right there, isn't it? We don't hear West Germany anymore. And thank goodness, as after the fall of communism, thanks to the help of Mikhail Gorbachev and President Reagan, the famous Mr. Gorbachev tear down these walls speech, that just still resonates in my ears. I was so happy that the communist era ended. It was, for those of you who didn't live during that time, it was pretty scary most of the times, and I actually felt sorry for the people living under communist rule. But this isn't a political channel. It's more toys, right? So I have to mention a little bit of the history behind the toy. So West Germany was on the side of democracy. After World War II, Germany was split because both Russia and America invaded, and that was a part of the deal where they just split Germany in half, and it was no longer Germany, it was East and West Germany. And Russia took Berlin and the western part of Germany, and the eastern part of Germany, and America got the western part of Germany. Hence the Berlin Wall. It divided everything in half, and Checkpoint Charlie. Very interesting parts of history, and I'll cover that whenever I get around to reviewing Checkpoint Alpha. So, very interesting time, we could say, for the world and also for toys. So, the reason why G.I. Joe was renamed Action Force thanks to the information from Toy Ploy. Thank you very much for sharing Action Force with us. I wouldn't have known about it otherwise. G.I. Joe sounded too American, and it was. G.I. Joe is exclusively an American name, and let me explain. The term G.I. Joe was coined by an American war correspondent, the late and great Ernie Pyle, during World War II. A popular phrase for average guy back then was an average Joe. Joe was a common name, and GI was the name of was a term for a soldier, general intelligence. So the average GI was the average Joe, the average GI Joe. So Ernie Pyle created that term, made it very popular for us, and unfortunately he was killed in action. There's a great movie starring Burgess Meredith called Ernie Pyle. I urge you to watch that. It gave a brief history about Mr. Ernie Pyle. So we could thank him for the phrase G.I. Joe. So yes, it was an American term. So Europe wanted to move away from that, and they called it Action Force. And I like the sound of that, Action Force. It's strong. It's a good, strong name. So they created the Action Force line. They had their main villain, Baron Ironblood, and I'll show you some 5-point articulated Action Force figures. And that he was the Cobra Commander of that time. He filled the role for Cobra Commander. Then they had the Red Jackal, was Destro. And they changed the names as well to separate themselves from G.I. Joe. Same characters, same action figures later in the 80s. In the early 80s, same toys when they finally switched over to the molds that Hasbro was using. And they just renamed the characters in the toys. And why not? Give the kids something of their own. So the Panther was an SAS vehicle, Strategic Air Services. That's the special forces of the United Kingdom. And those guys are incredible. I cannot say how awesome these guys are. I remember going round and round with a friend of mine from England who was better, the Navy SEALs or the SAS. A lot of national patriotism came into into that debate. Everybody, they're all special in their own way. They're equally tough. Some have their own special skills that might set them above the other. But the point is, we have these special individuals, these heroes, that get the job done. And the SAS, I remember seeing news footage of this during a hostage crisis with the Olympics that were being held. I think it was a London or an English wrestling team that was being held hostage by a terrorist organization. I don't want to misquote anything, so I'm just being a little vague. And I remember seeing footage of the SAS going in through this window, just clad completely in black, going in through a window. They neutralized all the hostage takers. One man lost his life, but that brought them into the national spotlight. And so the SAS is very hot, very popular for the kids. So there are a lot of SAS toys that go along with the Action Force line, and for good reason. Just like G.I. Joe, we have our Navy SEALs in there, we have our Green Berets, we have our Rangers, we have our Special Forces unit, and G.I. Joe in itself is a Special Forces unit. So it's the SAS Panther. When we look at it, you'll see exactly where the models were taken from. So without any further ado, I'm sorry this was long-winded, but it's important that this history gets covered. Unfortunately, Byron's Gripes is very short today. So let's go ahead and take a look at this very, very sweet toy. I can't wait to show this to you. Hold on. Alrighty, here it is. A very, very cool looking toy. This is the Action Force Panther and his driver Stalker. It all looks familiar, right? Before we get into that, these are the original Action Force figures. You can see they are just a 5-point articulation like Star Wars. This is Baron Ironblood. The term Blood for the Baron came from their very interesting comics. A friend of mine put me onto them online. The comics are a little more brutal than G.I. Joe were. So Baron Ironblood is quite a ruthless man. So these are the Action Force figures. Very cool looking, very Star Wars-esque. And later when Hasbro sent the molds, they used the Vamp Jeep and the MMS. There is a slight difference on the wheels, and I will point that out real quick. Let's take a look at the MMS part. Still the same toy. The wheels are quite a bit different from this is my custom SMS. You can see the difference in the wheels. They're a little bit bigger, different rims on it, and they are made out of rubber. Pretty nice, huh? All right, well, the missile launcher, it comes out and folds down. Folds down so you could set it up as a standalone toy. The legs are a bit loose on it, but as a standalone toy, there is a computer stand that is often lost. It attaches to this computer console, which is attached to a plastic wire. You just go ahead and attach the stand. I won't go in too much with this because I already reviewed the Here's a plastic tab getting in the way. I already reviewed the MMS. So, you get the point. It attaches to this computer console. It has some nice detail to it, actually. You can see that. The detail's pretty decent. It has the SAS sticker in the logo with the stiletto down the middle of it. There's the Action Force sticker. These are all paper stickers. Just fold the legs back up in there and slide the computer console back. Yeah, it goes in the other way. But I'll do that later. But yeah, very, very nice piece. The missiles themselves are gray camouflage. Very cool. Made out of a very brittle plastic, and it gets worse over the years, just like the rest of us. So watch out, these fins break off easily. So let's go ahead and set this to the side. Let's go ahead and take a look at the driver. They named him Stalker. This is as we know it, as the Snake Eyes mold. Let's look at his accessories first. It comes with his ammo pouch. It is different. It's hollow on the back from the original ammo pouch that came with our Snake Eyes version 1. And it's in a light gray plastic. Here is his signature Uzi. Very cool, well played with. He is Snake Eyes version 1.5, so this was, I'm assuming, starting about 83. Very safe bet, 83. It's when Swivel Arm came out. So we have Snake Eyes, Swivel Arm, and the only difference is they painted his grenade gray and his face gray as well. Not to mention his dynamite on his legs. And that gray paint is worn off. This was a very well-loved action figure. So he's a cool-looking guy. Definitely SAS looking. He has 2 pouches up here on his shoulders. The grenade, as aforementioned, is a stiletto here on his chest, if you could see that showing up. Then his dynamite there on his leg. More pouches there on his shoulders. He has these long sleeves met with this ribbed cuff. 2 more pouches on his legs there. Web belt going all the way around his waist. Snake Eyes is, needless to say, the most popular character in G.I. Joe. So, moving on, the Panther is the exact model of our Vamp. It's done in black and yellow, very flashy, again with the rubber wheels. That is a very nice upgrade. I like that. I wish most of the toys, all the toys, came with rubber wheels. It does have its infamous steering wheel and 2 removable gas cans. There is neither a left nor a right. It says high octane fuel, and it has a no smoking sign on there. Both on the same, each side I should say, hollow on the inside. And they store nicely in this little rack on the back. It has the same twin cannons that work with this toggle right here. Move it back and forth, and hope you could see that. The guns move independently, and those do rotate 360 degrees. And the front is the same. The yellow bumper, machine gun here, or some sort of gun at the front. Again, the SAS logo has a winch there on the front. Cool stickers here in the back. I wish they would have done that. Oops, sorry about that. Right here. Wish they would have done that with the vamp as well. On the other side, it says aid kit, and to unlatch Action Force logo. So very cool toy. The colors really flash, really pop. I like that. Very appealing to us, or to me anyway. It just really sets it aside from the US version of this toy. Technical difficulties do annoy me. The last part of the video didn't take, so here we go. Lighting is a bit different. I took everything down, and kind of a pain in it took us to get it right back up. So I hope you guys like that vehicle. That is really cool. I'm just happy to have it, honestly. That yeah, I'm speechless with this one. The Action Force toys are very neat, very unique to us, at least to me. It's gaining popularity, so if you want to start collecting, I would say, you know, jump on it now while the prices are still somewhat decent. So that brings me into my favorite segment, Byron's Gripe. Alright, so a lot of these are being sold out of Europe, so sometimes you might see it being sold under €1 or under pounds. Be careful with that. Just don't look at the number. Look at the symbol indicating what it is. Some people do convert it over into dollars, but eBay always converts it into US dollars at the bottom. It'll automatically be calculated. So if you see something, let's say in pounds, since this is a United Kingdom toy, just look in the bottom in the parentheses, and it'll come out to the US dollar. So something, for instance, I don't know the conversion rate, I'm just spitballing. You see something that's looks like, you know, hey, it's 30 bucks. No, it's not $30. It'll be about 50, 35, 40, 50, who knows. The point is, the dollar has a higher value than the British pound at the moment. So we're going to be paying more in US dollars, and there's international shipping. And at the time of this video, getting things internationally shipped is a bit difficult because of the lack of postal workers due to the virus, and things are just being held up in the post office. But you know, don't worry, it's been discovered, and I heard this off the news, that the virus only lives 24 hours on cardboard. It needs a host, basically, to live, and there's nothing to feed it on cardboard, so it dries up and dies. So it'll be dead, hopefully, by the time you get it. So if you're looking for this, there are a few available. The Panther complete with the driver, we're looking at $92.59 all the way up to $129.99. The Panther with the box and driver, but not the missile system, $249.99. The box, of course, adds value. The Jeep with the driver, complete, with the missile system, $137.21 or better offer. Stalker, or the driver, our Snake Eyes, their Stalker, $89.81 complete. The rear gun on the Panther, $19.96, and that's about average across the board for the Vamp and this gun. Incomplete Stalker, no accessories, $61.12 to $69.99. So, I mean, the $249, if I have to gripe about anything, it would be that. $129 is about average. I would recommend going through an auction. That's what I did with this one, and got it at a price that I couldn't pass up. So if somebody has an or better offer, haggle with them. You know, I enjoy that part. I like to haggle. Some parts of the United States, they call it dickering. Down in the southern parts of the United States, they'll call it dickering. I like to haggle, dicker. It's fun. That's the fun part of it. And I usually thank the people afterwards. Hey, it was fun doing this. Thanks for working with me on the price. Yeah, guys, if it's out there, get it. If you want it. I mean, all this stuff is cool, and realistically, at least I can't have everything. I literally am out of room. I'm storing stuff under my bed now. In shoe boxes. I am out of room to display. And that's kind of sad. Because I wanted at least all of the carded figures. Vehicles, it's okay. I know they're huge. A lot of them are really big, and there's just not enough room for them. At least wanted all of the carded figures, and I have complete up to 87 on the carded figures. So that's a pretty good goal. So the figures are small. I could at least put those in shoe boxes. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. I ran out of space on the video app because I went on this full diatribe. I vented, I'm sorry, about the coronavirus. I just want to throw this in, guys, as a healthcare provider and as your friend. Stay home. If you don't need to be out, stay home. It sucks. I get it, and it really sucks not working. Some people just don't have the luxury of being able to work from home, and I've been in that position where I've been out of work. It sucks. And I'm sorry. I truly am. This isn't a pleasant time for anybody. I'm actually complaining because I have too much work. And I'm not bragging. I would rather not have too much work. Because they're 12-hour days and they are exhausting, physically and emotionally. This virus is nothing to joke about, guys. And I'll make it quick. Don't go out and protest. Don't fight us in the medical community, please. We're doing this because we care. We care about everybody. We wouldn't do the job if we didn't. It's certainly not for the money. Nobody really gets paid what they're worth. From cooks all the way up. There's really no way to pay for a person's value. And thank you for those who are working out there right now, putting yourself in harm's way. I appreciate you guys very, very much. So please, folks, stay home and don't go out and riot because you think it's funny. You want your 15 minutes of fame. Think about it in the future. You could say, I helped control the coronavirus because I stayed home. How about that? How about that for history's posterity? Your grandchildren can say, and your children can say, I helped stop the coronavirus because I stayed home. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I think so. I helped stop the coronavirus because I wash my hands. I wear a mask, cover my sneezes and coughs. Sneeze and cough until your elbow. This is gross. Your spit fragments from your coughs and sneezes stay in the air for 20 minutes or longer. It becomes an aerosolized cloud. So you're walking through somebody's spit cloud. Think about that. You walk through somebody's spit cloud. If somebody sneezes in public and they don't cover their mouth, I've done this for years, I will literally walk a big circle around them so I don't walk through that cloud, because when you walk, it creates turbulence and spreads that all around. I started doing that when I learned that spit stays in the air for 20 minutes or more. Yeah, think about that, guys. If that doesn't keep you at home, you're brave. I'm not doing that to incite panic. That is just a simple fact to keep you safe. Wash your hands. 30 seconds, warm water, soap. Get a good lather, rinse fingers down. If you can, dry your hands. Use the paper towel to open the bathroom door in public. If you can't, use that paper towel. If it's just a hand dryer, use your shirt. Cover your hand with it, grab the door handle or your necktie, something to create a barrier. Carry a tissue with you. Create a barrier. Think of Bill Murray and What About Bob? Used a tissue, used a handkerchief to touch everything. So I actually went on like a 15-minute diatribe for that. So please, just for everybody's sake, stay at home. When the fire department is trying to control a forest fire, what they do is cut a line, what they call a fire line around that fire. They tear away all the brush and debris, and they create a huge gap so the fire can't spread beyond that. And that's what we're trying to do in healthcare, is to create a fire line. The general public is the brush and debris that we're trying to keep back from the fire, from the virus. So it creates that gap, the 6-foot gap that we want between people and public. That's your fire line. You don't want the fire coming from somebody else to you, right? Think of it like that. So staying in your house, you're creating that fire line so you don't get burned. So please, I want to see you guys around for a very long time. And I certainly want to be around for a lot longer than I am. I want to live at least until the nation's tricentennial. I lived to see the bicentennial. I was 2 when the bicentennial came around, and that was a cool celebration. So I at least want to see the nation's tricentennial. So I'll be 102. It's a good age. So help me live to see that. You guys, you take care. We'll see you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. And as always, remember, be kind to one another. especially these days. We need a little kindness to help cheer us up a bit. And always, always be kind to your animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. And my kitty was coming to see me. I was going to show her to you. But here she is. Come here, Susu. See? See this beautiful little girl? She knows nothing but unconditional love. Just a ball of fluff. So we'll talk to you guys later. Take care. See you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. And if your baloney doesn't have a first name, it's not Oscar Mayer.